All right, GM guys, I hope you guys are feeling great today and you are having an amazing Friday. We are going to kickstart today's town hall, and we see that this week's town hall is actually quite packed and quite filled. And we have a couple of guests in the room, which is our honor to have today as well. Not gonna name names, but if you guys look through the list, I'm sure you will spot some of the names, which you will feel equally excited as much as I am today. All right. I'm just gonna keep the agenda short. I'm sure some of you would have seen the announcement that we put out yesterday. Today's goal of the town hall is to really to sort of provide an open forum for folks to just voice out some of their feedback, suggestions, and all that. But as much as we sort of aim to facilitate and provide everyone with that platform, we really ask for your kind understanding and support to keep the conversation civil, and also try to not hog the stage when that comes through. Our goal is to make sure everybody will have ample time as well to voice out their concern. All right. So without further delay, I'm just going to jump right straight into our newsletter as usual. And the rest of the agenda items are quite packed, but no worries. Our goal will still be to keep it short, and so that you have enough time to chat and voice out whatever you want to chat about today. All right. So without further delay, this week's Banana Split is actually on the 82nd edition. The content as usual, Town Hall TLDR. For our new monkeys who are not too sure of how the town hall works, this is basically a town hall. This current session that is ongoing is basically a town hall that has been ongoing. It's a tradition of MonkeDAO where we regularly host such a session to keep members updated on what's going on, as well as also provide the opportunity for us to meet our new monkeys. And so if you guys may be busy, no worries at all. You can use the exclamation mark, the command exclamation mark town hall TLDR, and you will be able to get the rundown of last week's town hall or the most recent week town hall, all in point form. And I think Simon just linked that for us. So that is an example of it. All right. So feel free to go check it out. Or if you prefer the text form, refer to the newsletter. It's usually put out there on a weekly basis. All right. And I'm sure you guys would have seen the MonkeDAO announcements related to the banana stand shop. There are more updates are coming. This is definitely an area that you can expect more attention to be placed. And there are many exciting things that we are pretty excited about. And I'm sure today we will have our very own Florida man to come out here and share with us a little bit more. Definitely don't want to let the bananas out of the bag just yet. He will be the one who will be doing that. All right. There are also a couple of votes that completed last week. We just want to do a big shout out of appreciation to all of you. We know that the vote.monkedao.io, which is sort of like a new direction that we're going towards, is not easy. A lot of folks have provided feedback on some of the nuances you face. We have taken that into consideration, and we have many amazing devs, especially Tandis and Dawn, who has been helping to front the infrastructure to help make sure that everyone will be able to get the opportunity to vote in a way that is seamless and convenient, and most importantly, safe. All right, so feel free to refer to the newsletter. Specifically, two of them met quorum. One failed and one passed, and the other one, which is related to the bylaws, did not have enough vote required, I believe, and may not have passed. All right, and yeah, there are also a couple of votes that went up, or a couple of votes that were completed but did not pass. Those were also listed and reflected in the newsletter this week. Feel free to go check it out. We also will have a section today where Nano will come out and share with us a little bit on the votes that are live. I'm sure you were okay. Yes, I just got a red flag, so I need to move on. But yes, if you are excited about this, votes especially, Nano will be here. I will move on. Sorry, Nano. All right, so Monkey Counts Monday Monkey Spotlight. If you guys are interested to utilize the platform that we have to help feature projects, feel free to go to the link that is featured there on the newsletter and go ahead and book a slot there. This is specifically, especially for our monkey builders who are, working on interesting projects, that we can also help you highlight, all the efforts that you or your team has been working on so far. Of course, I just want to do a shout out as well for a couple of events happening. Monktober Fest There are still a couple of tickets, quite a fair bit of tickets available. In fact, Hosey especially has been putting a lot of effort to help make this happen. If you guys are interested to be part of the Monktober Fest, which is happening in Germany, please RSVP by the 26th of September, although you still have time. But, please try to respond to the RSVP ASAP so that we can make the planning that is necessary. Okay. And for our monkeys who are traveling to Singapore for the Token 2049, please be reminded that there is a monkey gathering. Our original intention is to see the number of signups and potentially open up to the public if there are enough slots. But I'm excited to share with you that we have actually almost maxed out, or I think as of today, we have already maxed out the entire allocation in terms of folks we can allow in. Purely by monkeys alone. All right, so I believe we're expecting around 30 to 40 monkeys alone in that specific event. So if you guys are excited to hang out and will be in Singapore during that date, please join us in the MetaCamp location. All right, information is included there. Shout out to our ads partner as well, Google Cloud for Web3 startups. There's also DAOpool, my MonkeDAO.io. There's a very interesting Magic Eden branded NFT. This, I believe, is from Totori Labs. If you guys are similarly interested in utilizing the newsletter as potentially a platform for you to advertise your projects or whatever you're interested in, feel free to look out for that. And I'm sure, Florida Man will be able to share with us as well how potentially down the road we could utilize bananas to make sure that some of you will be able to have some fun time in terms of a shout out or whatever that may be. And that should be coming pretty soon. All right. Monkeys on Twitter, we always love featuring monkey content. So if you guys are organizing anything, especially Monkey Meetup, do give us a shout out. We would love to feature your content, especially in this market. Any form of content is always good to help get folks together, especially, featuring your beautiful monkeys, finding the monkey or whatever that may be. And wow, good times in Berlin. I see our folks having a great time. Twitchy as usual, sharing his amazing family. And that is the monkey content that we have for this week. And I'm sure there are a couple of IRL events upcoming. We expect folks to continue to get together. Feel free to let us know. And we will be more than happy to feature whatever content that you'll be putting out. All right. Yes, where's the one of Morris on stage? I think we missed it out, but no worries. All right. So as we mentioned it earlier, there are a lot of exciting updates related to the banana stand, and I'm more than excited today to be able to bring out Florida Man to come share with us a little bit more on what to expect with your bananas. GM Florida Man, I hope you are having a great morning. Let's kickstart the day with some bananas update.
GM, Jemmy, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon or good evening. So yeah, really excited, obviously, to get the banana shop launched last week, and had a lot of great feedback from monkeys. I think a lot of people had fun. We wanted to really kind of do something big for the launch, and so we allocated about $25,000 worth of treasury assets for that launch, and we have budgeted for more as well that are going to be a slow drip over time. So keep an eye out for that. There is going to be a restock tomorrow, and we're very excited to be launching .monkey domains that can only be claimed through the banana stand. So that will be live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Along with a restock of a couple items like raffles. And I think one thing I do want to call out here is that we were in a good position based on the Tensor partnership and how that worked out to do something that was big, that allowed a lot of people to directly claim items like shards, like Tensorians and things like that. So as we move forward, I would tell everybody that you can expect probably more raffles, right? We're not going to be able to do that every week like we did for the launch. But we do have a lot of cool and exciting raffles coming up, along with things like event tickets for Breakpoint, which will be coming pretty soon. And we're working on directly integrating with Matrica events to make that a seamless process for monkeys. We also have new merch coming and a couple other things. So like I said, excited for the .monkey domains tomorrow and the restock of a few other items. Also working with a group of monkeys just to get feedback. And if anybody has feedback on the banana stand, please feel free to message me directly. And I think for now, that's everything, Jemmy.
right, thanks a lot, Florida, man. Really appreciate it. I just want to do a quick shout out as well. There's a couple of monkey who mentioned earlier in the town hall that this is their very first town hall. Welcome. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll try to see if we can allocate a small section for us to welcome you. So if you're new, please feel free to drop a text in the chat. Just give myself or Simon a tag, and we'll be more than happy to put you up here just to give a quick intro before we transit to the forum section later on. All right. And yeah, without further delay, I think we can move now to the vote section. Nano GM, I hope you are also having a great start to your day. Why don't you come out here and share with us a little bit of updates related to the votes that are ongoing?
Yes, thank you, Jemmy. Having a great day. Hope everyone else is as well. Berlin Hacker House was great. I loved meeting a bunch of monkeys that I hadn't met before, along with seeing a bunch of monkeys that I already knew and loved. We've got 15 shirts left over from the Hacker House merch. So those are the ones that people saw Maurice wearing on stage with his mega drip. And I'll be bringing those along to Breakpoint. But now let's talk about voting. So vote.monkedao.io, that's where you go for all your MonkeDAO voting. If you own a Gen 2, you can have your say in the future of MonkeDAO. So we've had a lot of stuff going on. We've had votes that recently ended. So we had 5 votes that failed to meet quorum. So that was the Monkey Meetup Grant Program, Gen 2 Member Priority for Breakpoint Events, GoFund Conzo, Operation Red Light District, and Change MonkeDAO Bylaws. So based on this, we were looking at it, and obviously having so many not reach quorum was not a great thing. So we've revised the quorum requirements. So the low end was before 7.5%. Now it's down to 5%. So instead of 372 votes for a vote to count, now it is 258. And we've also added the abstain option. So there was definitely some people that didn't vote because they didn't care one way or another about a particular vote. But now they'll be able to vote just to add to the quorum to make sure that the proposal is finalized and it goes through one way or another. But we did have 2 of the bigger votes that did pass. So we had the Terminate Gen 3 team agreement. That one passed. There was 537 total votes cast from the NFTs, with 83% in favor of that one. And with that one, Nom will be taking care of executing the royalties update for this, and I imagine it won't take too long. The other one, the Make SMB Gen 2 royalty-free and immutable, that vote failed. So it met quorum. There were 520 votes cast, but there was 57% were against that one. So it did not pass. Now today we've got 6 more votes up. So 2 of them are repeats. So the Monkey Meetup Grant Program and the Change MonkeDAO Bylaws. Those have both gone up again. Now that the quorum has changed, the authors of those ones requested to run them back. So hopefully we meet quorum on both of those and we can make a definitive answer for each of them. So just to quickly go through, I'm just going to read through the summaries of each vote. So Monkey Meetup Grant Program, it's to reintroduce that program at scale so as to encourage members to organize get-togethers and build stronger connections both IRL and virtually. The Change MonkeDAO Bylaws, so it's updating the MonkeDAO Bylaws to change our structure and rules so that members have more influence and responsibility for MonkeDAO's success. Then we've got 4 new ones that have gone up today. The Community Competition for SMB Logo. This was authored by Stroll. So this is about holding a community-led competition to choose the official SMB logo. And the other one from Stroll, the SMB name decision. So it's making an official community decision about the full SMB name. So is it Solana Monkey Business with a Y or without a Y? Monkey or monkey, you decide. Then we have Put Your Monkey Where Your Mouth Is by Jam. So this is a contest will be held to see who can come up with the best short-term plan to deliver value to MonkeDAO members. Members or teams will be able to propose an idea, project, action plan, product offering, or any other strategy that they will be the ones to implement, which will drive value to MonkeDAO members. The best idea will be funded for up to $25,000 worth of expenses, along with a $5,000 prize for the chosen team. Then we have the Barrel Bonfire by Craigery and Jam. This one, burn the 5,000 SMB barrels that were initially reserved and planned to go to auction as revealed Gen 3 SMBs. Additionally, set a 12-month time limit to use the roughly 1,800 unclaimed SMB barrels that the DAO will receive once the Gen 2 claim period ends on September 27th, after which they will be burned. So we've got some spicy ones in there, so everyone please make sure you go vote, make your voice heard. These will all be up for 7 days. They'll end next Friday, just before Town Hall, and the results will be announced during the Town Hall. One thing that's also worth talking about is one of the reasons that a lot of people didn't vote in the previous ones was because they didn't want to be connecting their ledger, either at all or multiple times every time they need to vote. So one of the main solutions we have for this is the vote delegation, and that is currently being worked on by Don with the assistance of Tendies. And I can report that this has been successfully implemented on testnet already. Like, Don has been going ham on this. He's doing a great job, and he's got the proof of concept working. The technical side is all there. Refinements are going to be made to make sure like the UI is intuitive, so you can follow through without having to have it explained to you. It should just be all on the screen, clear what you need to do. So you'll be able to say, all my Monkey NFTs from this wallet, I want to delegate the votes to this other wallet, which is, say, a hot wallet. And that means you'll never have to connect your Monkey wallet again after you've delegated them. So we are hoping that we can have that ready before election voting begins in roughly a week. Nom will talk about the elections very soon, but pushing really hard on the vote delegation. And just, again, shout out to Don for doing such a great job. And please go vote, everyone. There's a lot of governance happening. Go get some governance done. Thanks, everyone. Back to you, Jemmy.
All right, thanks a lot, Nano. Really appreciate it. As usual, I think there are a couple of key topics that have also been discussed over the last week, or rather the last month especially. So, this is indeed your chance, or like your way to make sure that your voice is heard by participating and vote. And we really appreciate, if you could take the time to just go check it out. All right. And yes, as Nano mentioned, the next section of the town hall will involve Nom coming up to share with us a little bit on the election. But before that, he will also be covering a little bit of the North Star document that has actually been worked on for a while now. And I think we are able to, provide more information finally and to share with everybody on what to expect with regards to the North Star document. All right, GM Nom, I hope you are having a great, this is midnight for you since you are now in Asia. So passing this amazing, beautiful evening to you.
Yeah, GM and GN, and good afternoon to everybody. Thank you all for joining us again for another town hall this Friday. It's obviously been a super busy week, so appreciate all of you who have been coming out, not only representing and giving your voices for governance, but also other areas for the DAO to continue to update. So as mentioned before, I've got 3 large items that I'm going to be hitting on. So this will just be me pushing these out, and I'll be sharing associated links inside of the town hall chat, and also putting out a couple of announcements a little bit later today. So the first one is around the election. So for those of you who were here or were not here for the election cycle previously, we have 4 spots for individuals who are going to be available to be voted for those elected individuals. We understand that there are numerous votes and proposals around potential changes to the DAO structure. The last month has already seen us delay elections pretty continuously around potential changes. And now that we know that the current bylaws stand based around the results of the last vote, we're going to be moving forward with the nominations portion of the election, and that'll be starting today. There's been numerous requests for more information around roles, transparency, compensation, which we've been preparing information around as a part of these. Part of that includes a compensation committee created independently of the executive. This includes ratings, a summary of the execs from the previous epoch, as well as details about how the compensation can be organized. That's currently being updated with new and expected revenue numbers for the end of the year, and that'll be subject for a DAO review once it's ready to be posted. For any of the other areas, or for anything that would involve the election, if a vote passes that would cause significant changes, we'll adapt the process as needed. But we do need to move forward on the election process so far. That's kind of my TLDR for the election itself. Going then into the kind of vote that we talked about previously, which is feedback for updating bylaws. We know that there were multiple votes that went up to the DAO vote platform. Some of those didn't hit quorum, and there were 2 that did. So we know that we're not doing any changes around the Gen 2 royalties or mutability, and we're working on the transition of the Gen 3 team's responsibilities over to the executive team, and figuring out the future and the strategy for all things related to Gen 3 going forward. There's a lot of different areas where we're taking in that feedback, and we're going to make sure that it's as fun, enjoyable, exciting, and productive for MonkeDAO as possible. To address one of the votes that didn't hit quorum, which is around updates to our bylaws, we saw a pretty much 50-50 split between yes and no voting. There's more proposals that are going up even right now. Nano went through a lot of the different votes that are going on right now about our structure. I wanted to put together a productive solution for some constructive and detailed suggestions of the bylaws. So I want to collect some feedback from all of you around why you are voting in specific ways in an anonymous submission. There's obviously a ton of different channels where people are able to submit their feedback, and I want to consolidate that into as much of an area as possible. So I'll be posting in the minor announcement channel shortly after Town Hall. It's a small forum around collecting sentiment for specific issues that have been brought up around our bylaws, and I want to make sure that we're accurately making decisions on some community feedback. TLDR, going to be another forum relatively quickly. That leads us into the North Star statement. This is something that I will be posting directly into the Town Hall text chat right now. Give me one moment. Perfect. So the North Star statement is something that we have been putting together as the executive for the last while. Obviously, there is about to be a turnover period where there's not only potential changes that are going on for the executive, but also for the structure for MonkeDAO going forward. What we want to do is provide, an answer to the common question of what is next. And so this is the starting point of that. There's 5 main tracks that we're going to be working through in the following categories. So we're focusing on improving and expanding the value of MonkeDAO's membership. We're wanting to encourage community contributors and participants, not just inside of the executive, but also at all levels of the DAO. This isn't something that 9 people alone would be able to do. It requires a lot of different teams and contributions. And we've seen a ton of different proposals and opportunities on ways to push this going forward, in addition to the existing teams that are already pushing out a lot of content on a weekly basis or continuing to contribute to everything that we're doing inside of the DAO. Obviously, we're interested in eliminating the outstanding debts and reaching financial maturity. A part of that is using the funds that we have raised responsibly going forward, so that we are not only incentivizing people to work on projects, but also making sure that we have the funds necessary to continue to work together as MonkeDAO going forward to do the things that we want to do. And a part of that requires the community's feedback on what is important to them and what do we want going forward. To expand on that, the 4th topic that we're really focusing on is growing revenue streams outside of purely mint revenues or royalty revenues. It's important for us to be able to have recurring ways that we are going to be creating funding for the DAO to ensure longevity of all of our projects. If we rely purely on the sales of NFTs, that limits essentially a lot of what we are able to do. And finally, it's the expansion and decentralization of MonkeDAO's events. I think it's pretty much no secret that it's one of the things that we do really well. I think we have an incredible community who throws amazing events. It's part of the reasons why we can continue to get together all across the world in different continents multiple times throughout the year, not just at large major events like Token 29 or Hacker Houses or Breakpoint. Like, we want to make sure that we are doing everything necessary to pull together community-based events so that you all, as members of MonkeDAO, have the opportunities to form strong, long-lasting connections that bring you together inside of the DAO. So those are the 5 main goals. I've included bullet points on specific things that we want to work inside of there. Those are not KPIs. Those aren't things that we've set on specific plans or goals. I recognize that we are going to be updating these with potentially new executive ideas and new members, as well as with the community feedback that is going on. So based on the prioritization of what we're doing inside of the DAO, we might move on some of those quicker than others. And our goal remains making MonkeDAO a fun place that you want to be a part of. We're working together to grow the value of MonkeDAO and membership inside of there. And we're continuing to support all of the people who are building quality projects and experience on Solana. I think Florida Man's done a great job of showcasing what a starting point for a lot of this is with the banana stand and the revitalization and excitement that we've seen in the last week. And I want to make sure that we do as much as we can to keep that momentum going forward. Thank you all for listening to these kind of 3 points. I'll be continuing to push out more information and more things on top of this going forward. That's all I've got for now.
All right, thanks a lot, Nob. Really appreciate it. I believe now we are ready to transit to the section where we will see if there are any new monkeys who may want to come up and briefly say hi before we transit to the official forum section, because I believe once we do that, we may not have ample time to, come back to a section whereby we have ample time to, just say hi to our new monkeys. All right. If we have any new monkeys in the room, could you just drop us a text and let us know that you are here? I think we saw, was it the crypto Asian or the Asian crypto who said it's your first town hall? So if you are comfortable, we would definitely love to have you come up here and say hi. I'm just going to do a couple of shout out if there are, indeed no new monkeys or monkeys who may not be comfortable to come up this week. We will very quickly transit to the forum section. All right. Dubtalk GM, thanks a lot for coming to join us. I'm going to send you an invite. If you are comfortable, we would love to invite you up the stage to say hi. Feel free to give us a quick intro of yourself, a brief background on how you got involved into Web3, as well as how you got into MonkeDAO and what you're excited about. Dubtalk, I sent you the invite. If you want to come up, feel free. Oh, no worries at all. The crypto Asian, understandably, this is now 12:30 a.m. in Asia. Well, that's kind of like an approximation anyway. Okay, no worries, Dubtalk. I guess we can always wait for next week. The crypto Asian as well. No worries. Nevertheless, welcome to MonkeDAO. Thanks a lot for joining us today, especially if this is your first town hall. And yep, Toops as well. Toops says, hi, I'm at work, so can't say hi, but hey. So GM Toops, welcome. We're very excited to have you here. Perilous, I have pretty much stopped trying to invite him up. This is approximately the 7th to 8th time as he agreed of him, telling us that he will say hi. So no worries, we'll keep trying. One day he will finally be willing to come out and say hi. All right. So if there are no new monkeys, we'll now transit to the open forum section. This open forum section is really dedicated to allow us to help facilitate a platform where members can ensure that their voice is heard, can come up and share with us a suggestion, your view, your feedback, your comments, etc. Of course, first and foremost, we definitely want to acknowledge that over the past month or so, some of the sentiments that have been raised has been around how certain individuals may not feel like their voice is heard, or they feel like there may not be an appropriate platform where all the folks are gathered into the same place. And so if you guys, definitely are comfortable enough, we would love to, facilitate this session today, whereby we can have you come up here and share with us your thoughts. And more importantly, we ask for your help to keep the conversation civil, and we'll also try to moderate it. And please forgive us if we do have to remove you halfway through the stage, for time purposes or whatever that may be. All right. So without further delay, if you do want to come out and say a couple of words, feel free to use the request to come up to stage. We will be monitoring the request right now live, and we will be pulling you up to the stage to chat about anything and everything. All right. Whoever wants to come up, feel free. And if there is something you want to share, feel free to drop in text as well. We are waiting for the first brave monkey to kickstart the entire session, because usually the first monkey is the bravest, and thereafter a lot of monkeys will feel even more comfortable to come up. All right, so don't worry. Who has the courage? Maybe we need some nice music from TD77 to fit things in. All right, I think we have it now. Sun 3. Oh, I think you already. Yeah,
Hey,
you got brought. Hey,
one second.
GM,
I had to, because
feel free to chat now. Hey, Santri, are you there?
Hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you well. GM.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? So I got a Gen 3 and kind of feel left out a little bit. How could somebody with just a Gen 3 contribute or, do something? I don't know. Does that make sense as a question?
Yeah, I guess your question was that as a gentry you feel like sometimes it's pretty alienating, whereby you feel like that you can't really contribute, or like not really active. And yeah, I think that's a very common theme that we're seeing. I'm just gonna mention a couple of words, and Norm, Nano, and whoever else is on the stage, if you guys want to sort of unmute yourself and speak up as well, definitely. But I think by and large, our comment to this is that your feelings are definitely not alone. However, whatever that you basically just mentioned has actually been repeated a couple of times among a couple of individuals as well. And I think the first step for us is to really be acknowledging this, and not sort of trying to sort of like dish it around or say that this is not a fact. I think, especially with a couple of initiatives like, Banana Stand and all that, the goal is to, continue to help bridge the gap. And I think, first and foremost, the entire premise of launching Gen 3 has not been to sort of like, as some folks claim, to use it as like, liquidity or whatever, or to sort of draw the line between Gen 2 or Gen 3, but it is really designed as a way for us to, look at, okay, great, we have an amazing MonkeDAO community. How can we ensure that we can expand the doors to welcome more Gen 3 monkeys, and to do this at a more accessible and reasonable price point. And so with that itself, that was really the whole premise of it. Of course, along the way, I think a lot of the sort of guiding principles may have been sort of left out a little bit. And I think moving forward, what we will do is to try to bridge the gap. There are a couple of folks who have raised very interesting proposals as well. I think Jason just mentioned this. And this is one thing that I definitely support in my personal capacity. And I think if you are referring to the town hall chat as well, it basically says to allow Gen 3 to participate in vote chat and see everything in the proposal or governance channel. I think this is perhaps a good step forward, even though the governance structure may not allow folks to, or rather individual members from the Gen 3 committee to participate in the vote directly. I think what we could definitely consider opening up is maybe a comment section whereby folks can chime in and at the same time have their views heard. And I wouldn't say that this is something that we can solve overnight, but I want to assure you that the team is aware of this specific issue that you brought up. And with the couple of like governance proposals coming out, I'm sure we can work with the committee to continue to find a middle ground for everyone.
That was a fantastic answer, I gotta say. Amazing answer. And I bought in for the very reason you said, like a cheaper way to get in. Sometimes you do feel, I mean, I personally don't really care about voting that much, but when you see like, oh, you have no voting rights, your voice doesn't matter, kind of makes you feel like, damn, what the heck? I don't know if anybody else feels that way too. But
yeah,
I sort of did a little bit, but I'm okay with it. But you could make the votes like 5-1 or something, so like a Gen 3 could still vote, but their voice wouldn't be as powerful. Of course, that would have to go through a vote or something. But like the banana stand is great, and other propositions that I probably don't know about are going to be good too. So awesome answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming up to join us today, and we really appreciate you sharing your views. And yes, I think I'm going to bring up Aloha Cowboy. Yes, Aloha Cowboy GM. This is an OG monkey. How are you feeling today? Feel free to take over this.
Thanks, Jimmy. I appreciate it. I don't want to chime in a whole lot, but I just wanted to highlight, just from my long time being in MonkeDAO and also concurrently having no marketable skills, that this problem of feeling like you can contribute and where to get involved and feeling welcome is not a new and unique problem to Gen 3. It is something that goes along with being in a large community. And I think we have evolved and learned ways to get people who are motivated involved that don't always just revolve around governance. I think there are plenty of ways to get involved at a social level, community level, activity level, committees. There's a lot of things to do So I think it may sound mundane to say it, but a lot of the efforts we've done in the past to generate participation when the DAO was just Gen 2, I think they can go just as hand in hand with our all common goal of getting Gen 3 as involved, welcomed, and engaged as possible. So with that, I'll just kind of step down, but I'm excited about Gen 3 and what everybody in Gen 3 has to bring to the table, because it'll make us all that much stronger as a DAO.
Thanks a lot, Aloha Cowboy. That is super helpful, and we really appreciate that thought. And I just want to drop a quick comment here. The entire premise of why MonkeDAO started is to really provide a platform for folks to, be the change they want to see, right? And in the early days, it was really about, when devs do something, and that to some of us have been, pretty annoying. And that's one of the reasons why a couple of us decided to come together and sort of utilize MonkeDAO as a platform for folks to be able to, be the change they want to see. And as we continue to expand, that is definitely a key area we need to make sure that we continue to put a strong focus on, and to make sure that the community focus as the key mode of MonkeDAO cannot be eroded no matter what we do. And I think Florida Man also mentioned a comment which I just want to highlight as well. Moving forward, one of the key objectives is how can we continue to delegate more work, or rather to involve more community members in the process of running the DAO across many other operations. And platforms like Monkey Music, Monkey Play, Monkey Ventures especially, that I have personal experience where a lot of folks also contribute from the aspect of like news, due diligence, etc., things like that. Even as activities are a lot slower, and these are definitely areas where you can also consider being part of, regardless whether if you're Gen 2 or Gen 3, especially if you're Gen 3, these platforms are all open for you to sort of be a part of as well. All right. I see there are two more hands. I'm just going to bring up I think Funky raised your hand first, and Sammy, if you don't mind, we'll bring you up right after. All right, GM Funky, I hope you're having a great start to your day. Feel free to unmute yourself and take over the stage.
GM, yes, thank you so much. I actually am having a great day. Hope all of my fellow monkeys are. I am brand new. This was my first town hall. I'm only a Gen 3. I only have one Gen 3. Some of you guys may know Jessica Cosmos. She is now my colleague and my friend, and she wanted me to join the DAO. And, just to kind of echo what Aloha was saying, and just, I'm too new to even feel the frustrations that Sun 3 is feeling. But I will say I'm a former high school teacher of 20 years. I love building community. The first thing I loved about here was the vibe. Like, it was very welcoming. I jumped in here. I saw so few channels, and they're like, oh, just verify your wallet. All this other stuff will open up. And it's been great. And so I think there are anytime you can come into a community and bring value is always going to be a plus. It doesn't matter if you feel like powerless. Like, I do a guided meditation that's 10 minutes every weekday, and I dropped the link in the chat this morning, and somebody said, oh, that might be cool if we had a channel, like if people were just interested in learning more about meditation. So there's any number of ways people can just join a community and add value. And I'm one of the community leaders. If you guys know NFT God, I'm in his 1% club. But I really love everything I've seen in just one day in MonkeDAO. So hopefully I'll be fortunate enough to have a Gen 2 someday, but I'm really loving the vibe. I just wanted to come say hi and appreciate all the love I see blowing up in the chat. But it's really cool to be in a place like this that's so positive and just generally vibing. Like the music, right from when I stepped in, I was just blown away. So I don't want to take up too much time. I appreciate what you guys are doing. You'll probably see me around. I'm going to keep you at the top of my server list because I'm in like the max 200 in Discord for my work. But and I do work for a startup. So, I'm hit or miss, but ping me. I'll be around. Thanks, gang.
All right, thank you. That was an amazing intro, and what an amazing first town hall. Thanks a lot for coming up and joining us. We really appreciate your kind words here. And, as usual, if you feel lost, feel free to let any of our community members know. The Monkey Patrol especially is always there to help. And I'm sure we can help point you towards the right direction, or, provide you with the right resource if there are areas where we can potentially be of help with. All right. Once again, thanks for coming up. We really appreciate it. And I just want to quickly voice out Santri. Santri mentioned that sorry if I sounded frustrated. Please don't be sorry. This is exactly the reason why we want to provide this platform for folks to come up and share their views. So please don't feel bad about voicing, anything related to your feelings as a holder, and especially in areas that we can, do better. All right, I'm going to bring up Sammy. Sammy, if you are ready, feel free to respond to that. And we would love to have you up here. And yep, I believe you're up here now. Feel free to take over the stage. Cheers.
So, hear me?
Yep, we hear you. You can hear me?
Yeah. So this is more of like an unpopular opinion, but I saw it in the chat a couple of weeks ago, I believe, and it was interesting. So basically, what if Gen 3, like when you join MonkeDAO, right? And I'm as a Gen 2 holder, like the best part of it is really being in that Gen 2 chat. So, and I don't know how it's like when you're Gen 3 and you're coming in and you you don't have a Gen 2. So if it continues like that and Gen 3 and Gen 2 like aren't really coinciding together, let's say in the chat, in the normal chat, why not have Gen 3 become its own project?
All right, Norm, do you want to take this?
Absolutely. So when you're talking about Gen 3 becoming its own project, and one of the things that we kind of talked about for the start of this is the idea of MonkeDAO being an umbrella that runs multiple different projects. And rather than trying to create different tiers of the same services for Gen 2 and Gen 3, it's where we're able to provide different experiences that are all still a part of MonkeDAO for these different NFT collections. I'm assuming when you're saying to run it as a different project, that would be outside of MonkeDAO, which I don't think is what any of, speaking for myself and probably other executives have in mind. But there's always the potential to do whatever you're looking for. For me, I'd just be curious to understand what you're wanting to do for having this be a separate project, or where you would want to separate in general.
I mean, I definitely, if it's possible, where Gen 3 and Gen 2 both have like their own values that that's being provided, like in the long term, then that would be really cool. But I'm talking about right now, where right, like Gen 2, if it became like if it's just MonkeDAO, right, and it's we go immutable, zero royalties, and it's the only project part of MonkeDAO. And then Gen 3 becomes its own project, and then they get to vote and do their own thing and maybe rebrand to a different name and stuff like that.
I mean, that's definitely a potential. I don't think it's something that we've really explored. If it's a conversation where I think it needs to be pushed forward, we're always happy to look at things, whether it's in proposals or just general conversation. It's hard for me to talk about, not running the project or to have it move outside of like our current operations. But if there's a general interest, we're always able to discuss things like this. The plan has always been to have Gen 3 be the way that people are able to step into MonkeDAO, the way they're able to get exposure to everything that we're working on going forward, rather than having it be something that's kind of left outside or in the cold, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I feel like just both parties would benefit the most if, I mean, I don't know that for sure, but if like Gen 2 just became like the only thing in MonkeDAO, and that's how it usually was, Providence, people joined MonkeDAO, or people who had a Gen 2 because they were like kind of proud to hold that monkey. But like if you have now a cheaper entry to get in, and then you're also not even satisfied with that entry because you don't have voting rights, or you don't feel like you're being a part of the community, then like becoming your own project might be even more beneficial than it is right now. And then obviously the value of MonkeDAO would just be to get a Gen 2, which drives value to Gen 2s.
I mean, I hear what you're saying for the ideas of this being a separate project. I don't think that's the direction that personally I would go. obviously I can't speak for everyone inside of the community, but I'm here with NanoWare. I think our goal has been to try to bring people together rather than finding ways to segregate the projects. So that's where I'd lay a stand on this one.
Nice, yeah. I hope in the next couple of months it gets figured out for sure, and that we can both be equally as happy communities. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens next. Thank you for having me up here.
Thanks a lot for joining us today, Sammy. We hear your views as well, and definitely, I think that's helpful to have you come up here and share with us what you're thinking about. Even if this may not be a common theme, that is completely fine. Because if you do not tell us about this, perhaps this may get dished to one side. All right, I think we have Jason who just raised his hand. Jason, I'm not sure if you were able to respond to the invite to come up to the stage. If so, we would love to have you out here. Once again, thanks a lot, Sammy, for joining us. Jason, whenever you're ready, feel free to take over the stage. GM.
Hey, what's up, guys? Happy Friday morning. I hate getting up this early, but I thought this town hall was going to be a banger, so here we are. Just a few things. For the Gen 3s, I feel like maybe one thing we can address is just like, I think the culture, maybe a lot of people that are new to MonkeDAO, especially Gen 3s, are like, oh, it's so hectic. Everyone's like arguing about stuff. And I'm just like, that's kind of like MonkeDAO is like everyone's really passionate and everyone wants change and everyone wants to make things better. So I think like my proposal, which is going to a vote now, which is going to have more clarity for Gen 3s. They'll be able to see the vote chat, discuss stuff, see all the proposals. I think will help a lot because I think Gen 3s maybe are like not able or they haven't been able to see like how much Gen 2s have been like kind of fighting for Gen 3s. And I think there's this narrative that like Gen 2s don't fuck with Gen 3s, which is not the case because I think most of us own a lot of Gen 3s. So we want the best for the collection. So I guess my point is I think the proposal that I wrote that's going to a vote soon, it's going to be a good thing. I urge everyone to vote on it. And then just in general for the Gen 3s, I think if you guys like don't have a Gen 2, just like talk to Gen 2 holders and like tell us what you want, because like that's how we make changes, is like putting forth great proposals and making shit happen. Hopefully that all made sense because I'm kind of tired, but I guess the main point, I just want Gen 3s to know that we do give a shit. And we want to make Gen 3 really successful and worth a lot.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jason. Really appreciate you coming up to make that point known. And I think I just want to echo that as well. That is exactly what we've been seeing, especially in the vote chat, channel. There are while there are certain folks who feel that the Gen 3 direction should be slightly different. There are also folks who have been actively fighting and championing for more rights for Gen 3. And I think once proposals like what Jason has brought up sort of passes, we will be able to allow more visibility into what some of these efforts have been. All right. So thanks a lot, Jason. Really appreciate it. And I just want to echo that we are one MonkeDAO, and we definitely do not want to drive that divide in any way possible, but really focusing on the community element in all that we do. All right. If there are any more folks who want to come up to stage to speak, feel free to fill your request. Just set or rather click on the button to request to speak, and we will invite you up here. In the meantime, I'm going to read out a question from Utopia. Utopia is probably not in a convenient spot to speak today, but here's this question. Given the current Gen 3 team, the Gen 3 termination agreement, does the current exec team have a plan for Gen 3 for the next 6 months? Currently, what has been discussed is that the exec team will definitely be heads down focused on ensuring that the handover is completed, and thereafter, I think what we aim to do is to utilize platforms like this to ensure that what the committee want can be entirely aligned with what the exec team is doing. And so I'm just going to sort of pass that over as well to Nom to add a couple of key pointers around what perhaps could be expected there. But I would say that the key highlight for us to ensure that the handover process is entirely sort of like smooth, and that we have all the necessary stuff documented, which the Gentry team has been an amazing help with as well.
So the goal is basically it's either providing bonuses utility to the NFT itself, or providing access to new things inside of MonkeDAO for what those NFTs are going to gain you access to, and clarifying the differences, if any, exist between the Gen 2 and Gen 3 rewards for those utilities. That's where we're looking to go for. We've put a halt on a variety of different things related to the previous plans for Gen 3, and we're going to continue to look at what people's points or what they want to do inside of the NFT collection is going to look like. There's obviously a variety of different areas. We're happy to revisit any of the topics and see if opinions have changed, but we're just going to continue to work on it through that side. Right now, the most important thing is following through with what the DAO has voted for, which is to go through and terminate the previous agreement with the Gen 3 team. Thanks for bringing it up. That's kind of what we have for right now, and we'll be continuing to work through it with other executives and the other people who are potentially going to join the executive after this election.
Thanks a lot, Norm. Really appreciate it. And I think Nano also dropped a point. What will be a key sort of guiding document for us to make a lot of the decisions will also be the SMB survey results. And you can view the results there, as Nano has linked it as well. So big shout out to everyone who has contributed to the survey results that can help us utilize as a way where we can better understand what exactly are people looking for, what are the priorities, and what should be the areas that we should spend more resources in. My personal view is that we have been doing very well in the community element all along. And my personal sort of interest especially would be to how can we sort of bring back that community element and make that the focus of everything. And and that comes from many minor things, or things that may seem small to certain individuals, but they all add up at the end of the day. So things like how can we sort of ensure that we truly retain this premier community of builders across Web3, enthusiasts across Web3. And what are certain platforms that we can utilize? Is it like RL meetups, or what is it about? Or is this like things like expanding or strengthening things like our Monkey DNA program, the partnership program, highlighting projects through MMS or whatever that may be? I think sort of allocating resources into that community element is a key part. And that also leads me to English question. The question by English. English says, can we just focus on repairing current public image about the purpose of Gentry and where the plans fell apart? It looks like the point of it was to fundraise IP purchase and zero plans afterwards outside of auction. Can we devote any and all resource to cleaning up public image on this topic? So yeah, I think definitely one of the key areas that we have often been talking about is that is not the case. I mean, definitely as part of the Gentry launch, we were able to sort of fund the IP purchase, but that is not the sole and only purpose of that. And I think a lot of the comms especially may have taken a different route, especially given the sort of like auction that was part of the plan. I think when you sort of like map it out, that Gentry proposal, with that sort of being removed away, I think there was kind of like a question mark moment whereby, okay, so like what is next? And I think what we have been utilizing this time so far is to sort of use this example, like platforms like this, or like survey like this, to ensure that, okay, if let's say community members do not want the auction to take place, what other platforms should we sort of pursue, or rather where should we be allocating our resources towards, right? Is it like thinking about the utility aspect? Is it thinking about the marketing aspect? Some folks also mentioned about IP stuff, and so those are some areas that I don't think we have locked in a specific direction yet, and hopefully we can lock that in and be able to go out and sort of just market the direction out in a more bold manner as compared to what we have been doing out here. I think a lot of the conversations is only helpful when you are able to communicate that to people. And what is the limiting factor now is that a lot of the conversations are only happening internally. we need to find a way on how we can bring these conversations out, as well as like output of these conversations to the perhaps like the wider public, so that they too know that, hey, like, this is like not about, like exactly what you mentioned, just to fundraise the IP purchase and zero plans. Of course, any other execs want to come out and team members want to voice any other opinions, feel free to just unmute yourself. And I'm more than happy to have you up the stage. If there are no further comments, English, I hope that helped to answer a little bit at least. Otherwise, just let us know a follow-up question and we can run that through again. All right. And I believe TD77 just mentioned that he wants to come up to speak. TD77, you are already on the stage, so feel free to unmute yourself and speak on it anytime. And I just want to do a quick shout out. If we have not yet met TD77, this monkey is our resident DJ monkey. So please join me in giving a big shout out to him as I pass the stage time to him.
GM, just as I was about to talk, Flux is here. It'll be good if Flux can speak. But anyway, I want to keep it short. I just want to say a few things. So a little background. I have been here for some time. I had a Gen 2. But during the peak of the infighting, I decided to sell my Gen 2 because I couldn't be bothered with the infighting. I just wanted to be here. And at that time, the Gen 3s gave me that opportunity. So I just switched to a Gen 3 at the time. So, but by doing that and, still being in this community for a few months, it has given me a very neutral perspective. And so I'm just going to keep it short and simple. So what is actually the problem here now? So the real problem is, for those who either have Gen 2s or Gen 3s, is usually a back bias. So what is stopping the Gen 2s primarily from allowing Gen 3s to have like voting and things like that? The main problem here is the Gen 2s are scared of value dilution. So they are afraid that, because right now that is the main thing that differentiates the Gen 2s and Gen 3s. Okay. So in my opinion, I respect everybody's opinion, but the problem here is that everybody is looking at, either some people are looking at separation, which will only make the task of the execs and other teams harder. And knowing humans, we will in the end find a scapegoat to blame. So that's the problem. And I feel this is also what has happened with the Gen 3 exec team to an extent. But anyway, so my point here is, what I want to say is that the easiest way, right, for Gen 3s now, the problem with Gen 3s is that everybody agrees, the Gen 3 holders, even myself, agree that what is the direction with Gen 3s? So there is no direction, we don't know what is happening. And the easiest way to get, if we don't look at it very complex, in a complex way, in the most simplistic way possible, is that the easiest way that the exec team could look at it is that we should steer the whole ship together, like what Norm was saying. We should not separate them. We should steer the whole ship together. But the difference is, we should not be looking at segregation of the votes or whatever. We need to start raising value for both. And the easiest way to do that is by steering the ship together. But of course, you want to add some extra perks for the Gen 2s. So instead of segregating what we have now, my key idea should be that we should add more things towards both MonkeDAO and SMBs in general. And when we have these options, we can then pick and choose what Gen 2s can have over Gen 3s instead of arguing. I like that idea of the 5-to-1 voting, because most Gen 2s have Gen 3s anyway, so they'll be able to with the Gen 3s as well. So Gen 3s are not going to overpower the Gen 2 votes. So I feel the idea of us versus them, or the separation of certain things, has led to this kind of environment. So instead, maybe some sort of consolidation should come into place. And as you add value to the whole project, both the floor prices will increase, and then you can differentiate Gen 2s by adding different sort of value props to the Gen 2s. So yep, I just want to say that. Tandy says here the suggestion has been read many times. Power gentry but voted down. So again, this is because of the back bias. But I was a Gen 2 holder, and when I had the Gen 2 and Gen 3, I felt the same way until I left the Gen 2. So I can understand the situation here. But this is why I think, like I was talking to Tosi earlier, sometimes some executive decisions or it might hurt in the short term, but it might work. I mean, some decisions have to be taken for the long term betterment of the project. Anyway, I don't want to take too much of time, so I'm just gonna cut it there.
No worries. Yeah, TD77, that was super helpful. I think, I think what I want to recognize, especially out of that, is the call for more clarity in terms of direction. I think that is one thing that has been, or rather is clearly a common theme, and is one thing that we definitely need to spend more time on and ensure that we can, get more clarity out of the door so that there are, lesser uncertainties for holders especially. And I also, just want to echo the point of consolidating or steer the ship in the direction of collectivism, whereby everybody can sort of function as one collective instead of that separation. But yeah, TD77, I think one of the key takeaway here for us, as a team especially, is to provide more clarity in terms of the direction, and to perhaps explore more ways where we can promote more collective spirit as opposed to initiatives that may perhaps steer some form of divide to some capacity.
I just wanted to say something else that I've said before, but I'm not sure if anybody has seen it. I think Norm and Jemmy, even though what he says, if you guys can spend maybe half an hour or what to talk to Tosi, because when I was in DAA, they had the same issues with the trash pandas, with the eggs, which are now the drop bears, and like how the apes were like ding donging here back and forth whether to include or not include. Even though the outcomes are different and DAA is more centralized, I think you can get a lot of valuable nuggets from Tosi. So yeah, ask him to just shut up and talk to you guys. I think it'll be very good for you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, he just said he don't want to talk to he don't want to listen to those idiots. But no worries. I'm sure we've got a way around him. He can't say no to us. So Tausi will be coming and haunting you. Very shortly. All right. Thanks a lot, TD77. Really appreciate you coming up. I just want to make sure I don't miss out Jason's tag. I know we have Vibes up here, Vibes GM. I hope you know that you have been greatly missed wherever part of the world. I hope you're safe. But before we pass the stage time to Vibes, I just want to make sure I find Jason's comment. Jason's comment is here. He mentioned that he wants to get the exact viewpoint on Moon Settler's proposal, which is to gentry collection, min pivot, and burn to swap to address the committee's concern regarding the supply overhang. Jason, I'm not sure if we would have the ability to run through this in time, given that we are kind of running short and also have a couple of folks who are lining up. If you don't mind, could we perhaps take this offline? What I will do is to share this proposal or the link specifically with the exec team. And once that is sort of run through as a collective, then we can get back to you separately. I apologize if this is definitely not like the approach that you're looking for, but in the interest of time, we may have to go via this direction. I apologize again. Very quickly, I see that Fabulous has a very quick comment on when you intern. Well, I think what you are referring to specifically is the marketing and the tweet side. I think this is also in line with some of the comments, especially, okay, how can we, perhaps have the SMB Twitter page to be a little bit more active, right? And especially like the MonkeDAO side, instead of just like one tweet per day, how can we also, ensure that the MonkeDAO page continues to be relevant? And I think this has always been like the goal. Clearly, I think over the last 2 weeks, some folks have been traveling, and certain folks who have been primarily in charge of the social media side of things. And I don't think, it is in anybody's interest to sort of like slow down their reach. And Maurice honestly has been coordinating a lot of the help in terms of putting internal announcements as well as external. And so I think what we would be able to do at least is to line that up. And I think one thing that we just want to make public is that some folks have also quoted the agreement with the external team to provide marketing support. That agreement has officially terminated at the end by the end of August. So today, we are functioning with just the exec team's help to run, the various channels and across the DAO's operation. And I think one thing that would be interesting as well is to explore how we could potentially open that avenue up. Some of the folks here you see with the red tag would be folks who are part of the team or who used to be part of the team. And those teams include like marketing team, etc. And these individuals were the ones who also helped us in terms of planning for like the timeline, planning for the execution. And we think this is I at least think that this is an amazing way to get the community involved, to let everyone feel like they are truly part of it. They can truly make a difference through these different initiatives like marketing, things that may seem simple to some, but individuals like myself may not be as talented in areas like marketing. So I think this is where we can leverage on the community for a lot more support and for collective work to be done. So fabulous. I hope that helped to answer your question. We have officially sort of ended that agreement by the end of August. So right now we're transiting towards finding a more sustainable model of running that out in ensuring a more consistency frequency of tweets being put out on both the SMB as well as the MonkeDAO Twitter handles. I hope that answers your question. I'm sure I have a couple of tags that I missed, but if I do miss, please tag me again. And in the meantime, while I'm waiting for the tags, please, we have vibes up here. GM, I hope you are having a great start to the day. Sorry for the long wait, but please feel free to take over the stage.
Hey guys, GM. It's really sad to hear, all this infighting that's going on right now. I just wanted to come up and maybe give a bit of my 2 cents as somebody that's been in the community for a little bit, watching MonkeDAO grow as a whole. To me at least, I've never been someone that looks at the floor price. All the value that I derive from the DAO has been by actively participating in the DAO, and in the sense that I'm someone that works in the space right now. I didn't when I got my monkey, and going to the events, going to our events, meeting people in real life, making the connections within MonkeDAO has what's driven me to continue to stick around. So I think the community would benefit a lot from not constantly doing the infighting, but thinking more about how to onboard new people within the space, which I think is the problem that the Web3 space as a whole should be trying to solve, instead of, how do we fight amongst ourselves, or who gets more rights. I think none of that is all that important to me. I think figuring out how do we get more people excited about MonkeDAO, about joining Web3, about participating in Web3. I think that's what really drives the MonkeDAO in the first place. Like that's where the value really derives from, right? So what I would love to see more from the DAO would be more of what we saw maybe in 21 and 22, where we were doing a lot of in-person events at basically every single hacker house, having community events even when there isn't hacker houses, people, the DAO sponsoring events, for monkeys that are just meeting up within their cities. Like those are the things I think that's more constructive for the DAO than, some of the stuff that I've been seeing. That's the one big point that I wanted to make. And the second point that I wanted to make is that the reason why I really enjoyed pushing for having an exec team, having Nam as the CEO, is so that I can have the ability to not have to read so many proposals and not have to vote all the time. Like I don't have time to, vet all these people. I don't have time to read through all these proposals that come up every single week. And it was so slow, the way that the DAO functioned before, when we had to vote on everything, and that's what really slowed down the growth of the DAO. So I would really push back against any idea that we're gonna somehow go back to the original way of doing things. And I just want an effective executive team that has a general idea of where the DAO wants to go, and for the decisions just to be made by the executive team and not have to go to the community anytime anything needs to get done. Just wanted to come on, say my 2 cents, and love and miss everybody here.
All right, thanks a lot, Vibes. That was really helpful. Thank you for coming up and sharing with us your thoughts and your feelings. That's always helpful. And I think it's definitely something that a lot of folks in the chat as well as ourselves agree with. We definitely want to find ways and also encourage individuals to be able to feel like how you just voiced out as well. So yeah, thanks again for coming up today to share with us. And I just want to quickly, maybe take one last question. And the reason why we are wrapping it up is, yes, Nano, stop leaking. It is raffle time. As Florida Man mentioned earlier, there are some goodies to expect. And so before we wrap it up today, we still want to end it on a positive note. And this is the raffle that we have prepared. All right. Last question, if any individual do want to come up and share your thoughts. Otherwise, we will have Florida Man start to get ready to do the raffle and to announce the winners. Well, I hope it is live. Yes, I think it is live. Nano, stop leaking things in the internal chats. Everyone is looking. All right. So last call. If not, I will be transiting that. But before we do that, once again, I just want to do a quick shout out to everybody for taking your precious time to come out and join us, especially our folks from Asia. This is like probably midnight for you guys, so we really appreciate it. I don't see any hands, neither do I see any more tags. So Florida Man GM, I hope you are ready. And Vlogs, good to know you're in Singapore. But okay, cool. Florida Man GM, let's run the raffle right now. All right,
GM, let's run it. Okay.
I wish we could play some music where kind of pump it up and then wait for the winners to be announced and then pump it down. But no worries. I'm sure everyone is more excited for the raffle results than the environment or the ambiance or whatever that may be.
I want to get feedback from everybody in chat real quick. Should I shuffle the order or should I leave it exactly the way it is? Anybody? Shuffle. All right, we're shuffling.
All right. Let's see.
All right. Order shuffled. First raffle barrel coming up right now. Here we go. Doxy.
Oh, is this a case whereby if they are not in the town hall, they will not get it?
No, we're not yet, but we will do those raffles. We will do raffles specifically.
I just wanted to get them excited,
Yeah.
Maybe some people like, calling
we
once,
can do that.
twice.
We could do that next week. Congrats to Doxy. All right, let me do the Tensorian raffle. I'm going to shuffle again, and we're going to spin.
All right, let's see.
Kembach won a Tensorian. Cool.
Oh,
all right. Okay. That's it. Like I said, there's going to be more raffles going live tomorrow. We'll have some more fun next week, but thanks everybody.
All right, Florida Man, do you want to quickly remind everybody on what you just put in the minor announcement once again?
Yep. So we got the .monkey domains going live tomorrow on the banana stand. 250 bananas to claim a .monkey domain. And then we also have a handful of raffles going live. And just as a side note, in addition to that, we have some events that'll be going live very soon for Breakpoint, along with new merch coming up. So stay tuned.
All right, and I just want to give you additional information. This is going live at 9 a.m. EST, 1 p.m. UTC. It is 250 bananas to claim. All right, so if you guys are interested, please watch out for that. All right. So with that, I believe we have reached the tail end of this week's session of the town hall. Once again, we really appreciate you guys for taking your precious Friday out to join us, and especially for the folks who join us to participate in the discussion today. This continues to be one of the best platforms for folks to be able to provide feedback and for us to be able to hear your views. And it is only through this two-way communication where we can truly understand where are areas that we can do better and where are areas that you think perhaps may not be as good. All right. So yes, indeed, I really enjoyed the feedback session, and I'm sure Utopia as well, as you mentioned it. So shout out to everyone for, once again, forking out your precious time to join us. And without further delay, we wish you an amazing weekend and have a lovely day. Have a lovely weekend with your loved ones.
Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up.